Happy Halloween! My name is Gianfranco Berardi, my pronouns are he, him, his, and I encourage curiosity and support creativity through my solo indie game development studio, GB Games LLC. This is the Freshly Squeezed Progress Report companion video to go with the Freshly Squeezed Progress Report blog post I published earlier this week. Last week, characters were finally starting to transfer knowledge to each other in The Dungeon Under My House, my second Freshly Squeezed entertainment project. If you've been following along, you know that The Dungeon Under My House will be a non-violent, first-person dungeon crawler, and as a Freshly Squeezed entertainment project, it will be a polished, playable prototype that provides a complete entertainment experience. It will be freely available for desktop computers, as well as mobile devices with no ads, no in-app purchases, and no personal data tracking. I had a short development week due to being out of town for a funeral, but even with fewer hours, I think I managed to make some decent progress. If you recall from previous reports, the player can now ask about topics and about beliefs about topics. For instance, once a player's character learns about the jar of pickles, it's now possible to ask about the location of the jar of pickles, and if a character knows, they will tell you where the jar is. However, if instead of asking about the location, you ask about the topic, the default response of ignorance is generated, even if the character knows something about that topic. So now, whenever you ask a character about a high-level topic, a response gets generated about a random belief about the topic, which, at the moment, is always the location, since no other belief types are in the game yet. Characters also reply differently based on whether they have direct knowledge or indirect knowledge about something. Saying I know something is different from I heard something. It's a small thing, and eventually I'd like to have a little bit more variety in how they talk, but this variation is just a start. Another thing I started was the tell something flow, which is very similar to asking questions, so I'm able to reuse much of the menu work. While you can ask questions about any topic without knowing anything about a topic, you can't tell someone about a topic unless they already have a belief about it. I also spent part of the week figuring out when a character's belief should get updated. If they directly see something, their cognition should always update. But what happens when what they believe is one thing, and a character tells them another? If you just saw a cat in the kitchen, but then later someone tells you that the cat is in the living room, what makes you believe or disbelieve what you heard? If it was just moments ago, perhaps you might think that your direct knowledge of the cat's whereabouts is more up to date than the other person's. But if it was hours later, you might think that the other person has more recent information. Which keeps leading me back to the idea that beliefs could get stale, which means I will need to implement a clock of some kind into the game, whether it's turns or a simulated clock of some kind. Thanks for watching. Stay curious. Now, if you want to learn when I release The Dungeon Under My House, or about future Freshly Squeezed entertainment games I'm creating, then sign up for the GB Games Curiosities newsletter, and download full-color player's guides to my existing and future games for free. Links are in the description. Thanks again.